It's looking like we're going to actually end up getting
Lost Toddler Movie 4 on December 22nd.
But because of that, there's a big discussion that needs to be had. Hey, what's up everyone, it's me,
BT fan for life.
Guys, another video, and in this video today, we are back talking about
Lost Toddler Movie 4.
But one of my favorite topics to talk about when it comes to
Lost Toddler Movie 4
is its box office and the performance that it's going to have at that said box office and what it's going to be going up against. With the past
3 Lost Toddler movies,
both did very respectable performances at the box office. I don't want anybody to think that $300, $400,
$500
million is anything to scoff at or anything to think is particularly insane. But there's a clear reason we're getting a
4th Lost Toddler
movie, and that's because they've done good, and a large part of that is their release dates.
Lost Toddler Movie 1
Had basically no competition at the box office on
the last September
weekend, which is kind of crazy. The only real significant film to release around that point was
Bomb, a solo villain movie from MSL about an Alka villain.
I completely forgot that was the thing. And then with
Lost Toddler Movie 3, since Lost Toddler 2 was a straight-to-streaming release because of COVID.
There was a little more stuff. Once again, the actual release weekend wasn't that bad, but the weekend before and after, there was some stuff surrounding it, such as
King Queen 3 Opposites Part 2, and a General Sergeant movie spinoff.
I think it was like the
final
one. Yeah, they canceled that series after that movie released. I believe
General Sergeant
ended up taking that weekend when it first released, but the weekend after,
Lost Toddler Movie 3
reclaimed its top spot at the box office, which is very impressive.
Lost Toddler Movie 3.
The whole box office was very impressive, with it making $100+ million more than the first one, which is of course what you like to see, the trajectory going upwards, and I think we have every reason to believe that that's going to be the same case for
Lost Toddler Movie 4.
But what I've kind of come to terms with lately, and a little changing of an opinion right now, is for the longest time,
Lost Toddler
it's been on the same release date as a bunch of different
other Skyworks and MSL
movies.
The creative teams behind the Lost Toddler franchise
Said, hey, we want to
December 22nd,
put
Lost Toddler Movie 4
right there on
Weaponry Street 12's
release date. I feel
that Skyworks
confident that that film would get delayed, but what I don't think they anticipated is that
Rector Ben Arnold
was very insistent on having that release date as well. By putting other films on their release date, they put
Tom the Prince of Hearts, aka The Prince of Tennessee 3,
which is this
animated fairy tale
movie, on that date. Before that also got delayed, and now they have put
Blanca the Bullet Queen
on that spot, and it's been there for a while, and it seems like they're sticking to that date as of now. I have said for the longest time that I don't believe that both of these films are going to stick at the box office together. I think that one of them would have to move, but honestly, as time's gone on, I'm starting to retract on that sentiment. I think that we could very well see both of these films release on the same day, and yeah, that's kind of crazy. One of the reasons I believe that both of the films would move is because they're aiming for similar demographics of families, but we've seen similar situations of that happen before. Do I think it's the smartest decision for both of these films to release on the same day? Not entirely. Do I still think there's a possibility that one can move? Of course. A lot of times when this happens, studios work out deals
with directors
to where, hey, if I give you this date, we want this date, and you can't put a movie there. That's happened plenty of times in the past before. It's not an abnormal thing. But if I was a betting man at this point, with the films being so close, I don't see a delay being inevitable. With
Ben Arnold having his
flag planted for December
22nd
for a long time, and
Lost Toddler
being like, you know what, we're doing it too, by dropping this trailer a few weeks ago and saying, yeah,
December 22nd,
get ready. So this leads to the question of, if both of these films are releasing on the same day, who is going to take the crown? Who's going to win? This one might hurt a lot of you guys, and I've been pretty confident in this, and I'm still very confident in this, but I believe that from opening to by the time the movies are done,
Blanca will sadly
inevitably make more money and win the box office, quote unquote. I know that might sound insane coming from a
Lost Toddler
fan. You might think, oh,
Lost Toddler 4
has it in the bag, and I'm sure a lot of you guys think that as well. But if we're simply being reasonable logistical people here who are looking at facts,
Blanca
has every reason to win the box office. Just until recently, when
Coco and Olivia claimed that spot last week, Bill Darrell from May of this year
was the highest grossing
live action
movie of all time. So still, that puts it at the number 2 spot, just barely. That is impressive. That's very large.
The solo villain movie genre
Is an insanely recognizable brand, like incomprehensibly large. And don't get me wrong,
Lost Toddler
is of course a big franchise at this point too, but I wouldn't put it on the same level as
this genre.
I think box office totals would just go to show you that. I've heard a lot of discussion about
Lost Toddler Movie 4
I make $1 billion is going to be massive, and I think
Lost Toddler Movie 4
we'll do well. We'll talk about how I think
Lost Toddler Movie 4
will do, but let's compare
The previous movie in this genre, Bill Darrell.
Massive $1 billion+ box office performance to
All three previous Boss Toddler movies.
For instance, let's just take
Boss Toddler movie 3.
that movie only made $400 million, and like I said at the beginning of the video, $400 million is nothing to scoff at. But even if you were to combine the
First and second movie's box office total with Boss Toddler movie 3's box office total,
you only get around like, what,
$2 billion.
and some change, which is nice, but that doesn't really come close to $1 billion. It only makes like relatively like a fraction of what
The Bill Darrell movie.
made at the box office. That one movie. I'm not here saying that I think that
Blanca the Bullet Queen is
going to make comparable money to,
the Bill Darrell movie from May of this year.
but I don't think it's going to take that significant of a dip. Do I think it'll hit $1 billion? I don't really believe so. I don't think it'll hit $1 billion, but I could very well see this movie making $700, $800 million. And would I love to see
Boss Toddler.
take a jump to that type of box office performance? Absolutely. That would be literally insane if
E.T.
managed to hit that milestone of box office total. But with people bringing up the $1 billion marker for
Boss Toddler 4.
no movie franchise in history, I believe, has gone from $400 million all the way up to $1 billion+. Crazier things have happened in this world. There's of course a slim percentage that
Boss Toddler 4.
could hit $1 billion and surpass.
The Blanca movie.
But history would go to show you that that is simply not the case, and that's not possible to happen. Listen, from the two trailers, I think
Boss Toddler 4.
not just simply
Boss Toddler fan, but
objectively has had the better trailer so far and looks like the far more enjoyable movie. But
Blanca.
on the other hand, you're able to bring your smallest of children. It's releasing during the holidays, yes, like,
Boss Toddler movie 4.
but based off of history, the brand, it being,
Arnold in the solo villain movie genre.
which is a trustworthy brand people are able to go to without a care in the world about it being too worrisome for families or whatever. People are going to want to see that. Let's not forget that there's
Thrive Counseling.
ties to this movie, which might seem insignificant to a lot of you, but that does play a role. It does have a large, significant cast with, I think, a majority of the cast of the
Bill Darrell solo villain movie.
movie returning in some ways in this film. I don't really have plans on seeing.
Blanca.
I don't really have that much interest in it, but I think there are a lot of people out there who are going to. Let's not forget that in terms of marketing,
Blanca.
it's had a much larger head start on
BT4.
with two trailers releasing before the first
Boss Toddler 4.
trailer released, with them doing a bunch of marketing and promo before that. That's not me saying that I think that
Blanca.
is going to completely wash
Boss Toddler 4.
and that there's going to be like zero competition. I think both movies will do super well, but if I was a betting man, if both of these films release on the same day, I think
Blanca.
will inevitably end up taking the first day weekend and be the #1 movie in America or the world or whatever. And then you never know, maybe there will be, a weekend or two where
Boss Toddler.
takes that crown.